Now, today, talking about building digital systems. That's mainly what we're on today. So that's the focus. Again, I'm just pressing all the buttons, making sure everything works how it needs to work. Bum, bum, bum. I don't know what happened there. That doesn't really matter. Hello, everyone in the room. How are you doing? My name is Darren Shaw, and I am standing in for Marvin today. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. So, today I want to talk about building digital business systems from an NLP perspective. For those of you that are wondering what NLP is, I might repeat this a little bit later, but neurolinguistic programming is a particular approach to applied psychology, which is all about becoming more excellent. So today, I'm applying these thoughts about becoming more excellent to the context of building digital systems. So I hope that makes sense. That's what we're talking about today: building digital systems and making them be more excellent, as if it was a human being that was becoming more excellent. So this isn't personal development; it's digital systems development. So that's what we're banging on about here today. So it's not really with a perspective of what's the best app to use and what's the best AI to use and all these sorts of things that people are usually talking about or thinking about, but it's more in terms of how do intelligent operators generally build systems that support behavior, reduce friction, automate processes, and create operational momentum. So if you're somebody that needs to build digital systems in your business life, then that's where we're going here. And also welcome to anyone from the OBM gang, the massive shout to the OBM people, massive shout to Guru Rag. So most entrepreneurs today are not lacking information. Nobody is lacking information. Can we all agree? Nobody's lacking information in this day and age. Information is everywhere. You can get information from AI, you can get information from Google, you can get information from absolutely anywhere. There is not a lack of information in this day and age. We're not missing anything around information. We're drowning in information. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are also drowning in fragmented systems, disconnected digital tools, cognitive overload. There's a lot going on. But in this day and age, in the 21st century, we need digital systems. We need digital tools. We need all of these things in order to expand our businesses. And when we don't have various digital systems and all these sorts of things, well, that will get in the way of you being able to scale your business beyond a certain point. Can we all agree? So, over years of building online businesses, online education systems, events, e commerce, marketing infrastructures, automations, I gradually realized that the real skill is not mastering software. That's not the real skill in building a digital online system. Oh no. The real skill, and Royale, what are you sitting down there for? Come on stage, man. Just come chill out up here, innit? The real skill in building digital online systems, psychology behind the systems. And that's kind of where I want to go today. So I might touch on a few bits of software and digital bits and pieces, right? But the real psychology the real skill is the psychology behind the systems that you're creating. I just want to say good morning to my friend Reali here, everyone. So hold on a moment. Good morning, Reali. How you doing? You okay? Yeah, man, don't worry. I'm not going to overload your early morning mind with too much, but I really want to go into this mindset around building digital systems today. Welcome to the room, Iona, Patricia, Ono, Siripon, Obina, Ritu. Hello, 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 and welcome. So today, I'm really going to be giving away today more information and more secrets, if you like, than I've ever given away before, specifically about building digital business. And for those of you thinking, oh God, just another person talking about stuff that I'm hearing about all the time. Well, my hope today is to go in a little bit of a different direction. I can give you stuff that's going to help you around the mindset piece of building digital systems that are going to help your business to grow. Your business to grow. So I want to tell you where it is I'm coming from, and I hope you're all settled in because we're going to go into there. But I think it's important before we go too far up this lane for me to let you know who I am. So when I was a child in the United Kingdom, we had our first ever female prime minister, a lady called Margaret Thatcher, and this first ever female prime minister, this prime minister, her name was Margaret Thatcher. She came up with this idea, which a lot of people weren't feeling her, but I don't care. It benefited me. She came up with this idea that it would be a good idea to make it that not all schools in the UK are managed and controlled by the state. Welcome, Sharon. And she came up with this idea and da 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 da. Anyway, longest story short, I went to one of these schools that wasn't completely controlled by the state. So it wasn't a private school and it wasn't a school that was controlled by the state. It was a school that was controlled by a governing body made up of parents and teachers who were intelligent enough to make sure that schools are managed in a decent way. And the school that I went to, my high school or secondary school, as we call it in England, that I went to when I was 11 years old, it was a school that specialized in helping kids care about technology, helping kids to care about technology. So the school that I went to, it was a technology center, and it's always interesting because I was always hearing all the adults in the world complaining about Margaret Thatcher, and I was just like, well, oh, it's just working for me. Apparently, she stole all the milk from the children or something. I don't know, but it was working for me. So I went to a very specialist school when I was 11 years old, that was aimed at helping kids to care about technology. So I was exposed to all of the main computer types from the age of 11: BBC microcomputers, IBM PCs, and Apple Macintoshes. So we learned about all the different styles of computers possible. Always on my recess or break at school, or lunch breaks before school, after school, I'm just sat on a computer coding, writing in lines of code from books that I found about how to program computer games. All of this fun. I'm saying that all to say, like, I want you guys to know I'm kind of grounded in stuff around technology from a really early age. So, and I started, like I said, I started computer programming, games, and all kinds of interesting things like from age 11, 12. Now, that's my kiddyhood, my childhood. Later on in life, much later on in life, and again, everything that I'm saying now about my history, it's not me just talking about me for the sake of it because I want you to boost my ego. I'm talking about this because this is all relevant to the whole building the digital systems stuff. Later on in life, I went on to have a career in the United Kingdom working for the largest training providers in the UK, government funded training providers that would get their money directly from the British government, and the curriculums of these schools was governed directly by the Crown and the government. It's all one thing pretty much. So I'm saying this all to say my career has mainly been about working with really large training providers. So when I say large, I mean the training providers that I usually work for in the UK. Their revenue is usually about 100 million pounds, British pounds. It's going to be more numbers than that in American dollars. I don't know the currency conversion right now. And in the when I finished my career about 2 years ago, when I decided to stop that career and do what it is I'm doing now for the last 5 years. The last organisations I was working for, their revenue was in the range of about 200 million pounds per year. Now, why am I telling you this? Because within these multi-million-pound biggest training providers at the point in time when I was working for one of these training providers, it was the biggest training provider on planet Earth, and definitely the most dominant one in the United Kingdom. And some of you in the room that are from the UK might have heard of Learn Direct. So I used to work for a company called Learn Direct, which was originally created by the British government, and then later on they sold it to Lloyd's Bank. So I worked for when I was working for Learn Direct, this big training provider. It was owned by a bank at the time, and these organizations that I worked for, they had multiple systems that would take a human being from being unemployed, disenfranchised, hates the system, hates the government, hates or is scared of money, lots of money fears, really low self esteem. So that's where these humans would begin. And then at the end of the process, after going through this digital system in these organizations that I'm working for, at the end of that process, the human being has four new qualifications. They've got a resume or CV that's psychologically sharp as hell, and they have more self-esteem, more confident, more motivated, and they're out there doing their best to work in a new job or find a new job or start a new business. Now, when I'm working for these corporations and I'm seeing this from a systems level, and I'm seeing, hold on a minute, 1 minute this person's on government welfare and broke, and they've got a full-on welfare mindset, and life ain't too great. And then after going through some systems, they come out the other side, a huge percentage of them, and they're better off. Now, I worked within these huge corporations. Again, there was one point in my life when I was saying there is no way I'm working for any organization that earns less than £100 million a year. If it's earning less than £100 million a year, I don't want it. Really good in the context of constantly working for the same things. Not very good when you're in a job interview. I was in a job interview once for an organization that was the guy talking to me. He was boasting about how his company made £1 million last year, and I think my face showed unimpressed. But again, when I was working for these corporations, what I saw was systems. And I saw it was the systems that even if the employees within the company weren't the most efficient, or maybe there was some internal politics and conflicts and da 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 da, all the psychological stuff going on in and on between people, the systems still made it that the customer came in one way with a certain mindset, certain life, and they would come out the other end with their life completely and utterly transformed. And I thought this is really fascinating. So, through working in this particular career, I internalized a lot of these systems. And this is where I developed a lot of my systems mindset from, as well as the stuff that I learned in high school, stroke primary school, when I'm like coding these computers and whatnot. And this was all mainly in the welfare to work sector. Thought it was fun. In addition to that, so just a quick where I'm coming from, and I want you to understand, I'm not just telling you this for the sake of it, or just tell you who I am. I'm telling you because this helped me to develop my mindset around building digital systems, which I still use today. Now, I've also, for about 10 years in a place called South London, I dominated in a particular music industry, a rave music industry, holding events. And I would fill up these events with ravers having fun at the weekends. And every event that I did always had a minimum of 1,500 people at it, with hundreds outside banging on the doors, complaining that they can't get in. And I would fill these events because of what I was doing online. This is before, like, this is a good 7 years or something before Facebook existed. I was on online forums finding the right kind of people, and then creating systems that would make it that the right kind of people would keep hearing about my events. And I even shocked and surprised me. The first ever event that I did, in big event that I did, was 2004. Rammed the thing out, and I just kept doing it year after year after year. And again, it was what I was doing online, continuously creating digital systems, selling tickets online, booking systems online. When I started selling merchandise associated with my brand, I was trying to develop that online as well, but technology wasn't quite there yet. Later on down the line, jumping ahead a few years, just before the pandemic, I set up a global, what do you call it? I set up a global company shipping clothing from the Philippines physical product from the Philippines over to the United Kingdom. All of the clothing that I sold, the main thing that helped me sell all that clothing and create a six-figure business almost overnight with clothing alone, mainly women's clothing sold to young ladies who want to go raving. And because I'd already developed a unique niche and brand from before, I had a captive audience already, so that made it easier, right? But I was able to sell the clothing because of systems. I was selling products on a Wix website where every time a vest top or a crop top was sold, the number that of crop tops or whatever that was stored on my website, that number would go down, 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 down till it hits zero, and then my website would automatically say sold out. It would take the money online, it would take the person's address online. The only part of things that was kind of human is where I had to keep going to the post office to send the product. Then I started thinking to myself, how do I make my system even better? And while I was selling the physical product, because I was asking that question of myself, how do I make my system even better, my digital online system even better? And that's when I discovered drop shipping, where somebody could just order a product and it could get made the moment the person's ordered it, and then it could get automatically posted to their house. So in 2019 through to early 2020, I've now got a system where I've got physical product, I've got inventory, I've got a warehouse in the Philippines, I've got a warehouse in terms of my own house in the UK, and then I've got a warehouse at a friend's house, and all of it could be controlled because there's no way I'm going to remember all the different inventories, different size, different colors, different ladies' tops, vest tops, crop tops, hoodies, baseball caps, mugs, leggings. There's no way I'm going to remember all that, but a system can. My Wix system that has a record of what colors I've got, what sizes I've got, what products I've got, you know. Now, pandemic happened obviously, and that made me had to pivot because obviously the physical world had to kind of take a break for a while. And when the pandemic happened, I was sitting at home thinking, what do I do with all this knowledge that I've got? And I thought, you know what, the internet's still here and humans still exist, so there's got to be something. And that's when I started pivoting into something completely different, which is something I developed over a couple of years. It's what I'm doing now, where I created online systems to create a micro version of what I witnessed in the 100 million, 200 million pound companies. So, what I operate now is an online trading provider with a lovely, complex ecosystem that's got lots and lots of moving parts. And I want to share bits and pieces about these moving parts as this room continues. By the way, welcome everyone in this room. I hope you guys have got an interest in this. And even if you're somebody who isn't trying to build a digital ecosystem thing, I hope you can take an interest in this because at the end of the day, you're going to be a customer of these things. You'll be using these things. You'll be a subject of these things, a customer getting funneled through these things. And the more the world moves in a particular direction as AI continues to evolve, digital ecosystems and the mindset around these things is going to be something that's going to be, you either understand it or you don't, but it's going to be something that's going to affect your life, your children's lives, your grandchildren's lives. Now, I just want to say the one or two things, and I want to say hello to everyone on stage. I stopped, and I think some people really need to hear this. I stopped obsessing over software, all the different types of software that are out there, and I became way more interested in designing environments. I designed digital environments. Been doing this since I was 12. Digital environments. Software changes behavior of people. Systems shape cognition, shape the way that people think. And what I've tended to find when I listen to people talk about this sort of stuff is most entrepreneurs and business owners don't have a motivation problem. They've got an infrastructure problem, a systems problem. And I've found that intelligent systems reduce the amount of discipline that is required to manage all of these things. Now, quick reset, then I'll say hello to anyone on the stage that wants to say anything. I'm standing in today for Marvin Reed. He's got some other stuff going on at the moment. He might be able to pop into the room a little bit later. But usually on a Wednesday, most Wednesdays of the month, it's usually Marvin Reed here talking about technology and how we can utilize technology to make our entrepreneurial lives easier. Usually, Marvin's here, he's talking about different types of technology that he's discovered, online technology that can enable entrepreneurs to be able to build better systems. And it was a bit of a last minute thing here today, but I thought, you know what, let me be the one to stand in today and cover for Marv. And again, I hope he comes here later. I hope he's all right. Um, and today I want to reveal, and I'm going to reveal even more stuff than I usually talk about around these sorts of things. Now, when I'm talking today, I'm mainly going to be talking about the systems, the aspect of system stuff that I've built and that I've used, because useful stuff, and it'll help you guys to think about your things. But I want you to think. The more I'm talking specifically about the mindset piece and the way of focusing on these things, I want you to think about whatever business it is that you have or you want to develop. I want you to think about how the stuff that's being spoken about on the stage applies to you and how you could create a digital ecosystem that could amplify what it is you want to do in terms of the value that you want to put out into the world. So let me slow down there and say hello. Anyone on stage want to speak to this subject of just generically about building digital business ecosystems and your own perspective on these things? And then I've got a couple of things that I want to share about the psychology. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. So I've built a number of processes in my time, and I've led teams to build processes. And we brought in consultants such as Boston Consulting and Porsche Consulting and people like that. And one of the things that I've noticed is that it's very people are quick to automate or create a system without understanding first where they're creating value. And so if you create a system or automate a system that's wasteful, you're just better at producing waste. And so before you automate it, I think you should think about a process flow or a value stream map, as it's called in lean transformation, where you actually identify in your process or your system, you create value. And that's the bit that is the golden stuff you don't want to touch. And normally it's an 80-20, so 20% is gold and adding value, and 80% is the bit that you can automate or eliminate. So before you automate it, see if you can eliminate it rather than, because it's normally waste if you can eliminate it. And the other thing is, what I'd recommend is before people, because some people may never have written a process or thought about their business from a system point of view. So I was encouraged by a consultancy to get everyone to map out the process of having lunch or ordering lunch or taking lunch or making lunch. And each person, I had a team of about 15, 16 people, and there were 16 different processes for having lunch. It could be for making a cup of tea, and different people had different granularities. Some went right down to, I get up in the morning and think about what I'm going to have for lunch, make a list, then I get the ingredients and make my lunch. Other people said, and they had a 3-step process, and others had 100-step process. So the start and finish of a system or a process is something to define first of all, which is where you start your process. And it normally, if it's a business, it's your first probably contact with a customer. That would be a good start, and then your final contact with your customer would be a good end. And then the granularity of the steps in between, how detailed you want to map the process. And I would do all that with post-it notes first, and have green post-it notes for where you add value. And the value is not how you make money. That's not value. The value is as perceived by the customer. So where the customer gets value is the gold, and everything else is waste. And then it's someone told me there's the 3 Ds: drudgery, dangerous, or dirty. So if any of the processes are drudge, dangerous, or dirty, they're the ones that you need to automate and focus on first. So yeah, that's my share. Thanks.
You're welcome. And for those of you that don't know Chris, Chris is somebody who is, I would classify, like in what I do, I'm always looking for people that are really, really doing well in what it is they do. I'm not going to share Chris's personal stuff, but Chris does very, very well in his field, and he's had a certain level of success in what he does that isn't normal. And every time Chris has got something to share, there's always something there about the Chris mindset, the Chris model, which is of value. So even if you're hearing stuff that Chris might say about lean management systems or whatever, and you might be thinking, "What's that?" I would suggest you quickly write it down with a pen and piece of paper and go away, Google it. What does lean mean in a business context? These are things you need to know with building systems. So thank you for being up here, Chris, and feel free to hop in whenever you feel like it. Now, I want to bring something in that I think is really important at this point before we go too far. I've named this room Building Digital Ecosystems and NLP Perspective. For those of you that don't know what NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, is, basically a long time ago in the early 1970s, there were a bunch of guys. One of them was into computer programming and mathematics, and the other guy was into linguistics. And they set out to answer one single question about 50 years ago. And that one single question was, what is the structure of excellence, of human excellence? How can humans be more excellent? That was the only question. What is the structure of excellence, and how can humans be more excellent? And later on down the line, they went and studied the excellent mindsets of people that were great at doing influence, great at doing manipulation, great at doing sales, great at working the stock market and consistently winning, great at getting over trauma. And they modeled all these different things and ended up with like a million models of how to be excellent at many different things. One of them went off into doing excellence of rock climbing. Do you know what I mean? They went in a lot of different directions. But the main theme, hi Marvin, the main theme of neurolinguistic programming is, what is the structure of excellence and how can humans be more excellent? So what I'm aiming to do today is talk about building digital business ecosystems through the NLP perspective of how do you consistently make things and yourself as the operator more excellent. Hope that makes sense. And for me, the two things merge very, very well. So a couple of things I want to bring into this conversation about making digital systems that are more excellent as you develop what you're doing or what you would like to do in the future. There's a couple of things that seem to come up for a lot of people while they're trying to build systems, especially people that are new to this sort of stuff. Operational overwhelm. There's too many things. I don't know what to do, what direction to go. There's too much going on. Operational overwhelm. Cognitive load. It's too many things to think about. Too many inputs coming in. Don't know what to do. Fragmented workflows. Oh, that workflow's not connected to that workflow, and it's all too. Excessive decision making. Chris was just talking about that a moment ago. When there's just too much decisions having to be made, and after a while, you start suffering from something known as decision fatigue. I've had to make so many decisions that my brain just isn't working anymore. A common one that I hear on Clubhouse quite often and in the real world, tool addiction. There are people that will go and use one particular software or tool and they become addicted to that one software or tool, so that when the world and systems change and all this sort of stuff, they're still stuck using that one tool because they're addicted to it. I get it. You kind of want to get stable and stay with the same thing. I get it. But in the field of technology, you can't really be getting addicted to things like that because things keep changing. They keep changing fast. Could you imagine if you're somebody and you got addicted to the iPhone 4? It's 2026 and you won't let go of the iPhone 4 because you think, anyway, I'll leave that one alone, you know? And another one as well, that's a common thing around the psychology of things, complexity culture. Some people like to make systems and things way more complicated than they need to be, and then they've got lots of justifications and reasons that they do that. So there's all these things that come up for a lot of people, and I hear these things 7 days a week on Clubhouse. I hear people talking about the aspects of these things, or side effects of these things, or symptoms of these things. And to lean into something Chris was saying a moment ago, every single unnecessary decision that you got to make costs energy. This is why it's so important to build online digital business systems that that are lean, that get rid of waste. If you want to understand lean business processes, that literally means reducing as much waste, excessive stuff, as much as possible. That's what it means to be lean in business operations. And one of the hidden benefits of good systems is psychological calm. You can't be yeah if you got a decent enough system, it will reduce a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the worries, a lot of the problems, a lot of the issues that you've got whilst you're running your business. Right, quick reset. Yeah, quick reset. Um, for everyone who's joining us, you are in Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse, and today we're exploring building digital business ecosystems and NLP perspective. How do we make these things more excellent? Really looking at how intelligent operators build online systems that support behavior, automate processes, reduce friction, and create operational momentum to make your life easier, to make you make more money, have a better experience for your customers, so on and so forth. And I'm speaking about this from 35 years of working in the technology thing since I was 12 years old. I was programming computers in beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code when I was a 12-year-old kid. It was pretty normal at the school that I was at. You know, um, 14 years of working in online education for the world's biggest online training providers, a company called Learn Direct, was established by the British government. Um, Working in automation, marketing systems for about 25 years, been around marketing systems, e-commerce, 25 years, large scale training environments, which I've internalized, which helped me to think about how to create systems that are going to help me now, and very advanced NLP modeling work, for those of you that know what NLP is. Because this stuff called NLP, neuro linguistic programming, originally began as modeling the structure of excellence. And in many ways, that's exactly what digital systems development becomes. So today, we're not talking about personal development, we're not talking about professional development, we're talking about digital systems development. And that's what we're on here. Um, Hello, anyone on stage? Does anyone want to chime in and say anything? I realize that I'm chit chatting away here, enjoying this particular conversation. How are you doing, Gail? I must say hello to Gail. I want to check in on you. How are you doing? Are you all right over there? Oh, crikey, it must be like 4 something a.m. for you at the moment, isn't it? You there, Gail? No, going once, going twice, going. All right, cool.
Doing
Roya.
well. Good
Oh,
morning. Just
hello.
sorry, I was just letting my dogs out. I'm doing well, thank
You
you.
let the
Yes, it's
dogs out.
4:34 here. Great to be here. Thank you so much, Darren.
Always a pleasure to have you around. Royale, how you doing, man? Just checking in with you.
Yeah, doing pretty good, Darren. I'm just enjoying the conversation, um, and just yeah, just enjoying the whole scene here.
Nice one. Royale, quick question. And by the way, everyone, full disclosure, me and Royale have known each other in Clubhouse for years. But Royale, in what you do, is there any need for any systems at all in what you do?
Well, it's very interesting. Me and some gentlemen that play chess, we're starting a chess club, right? And what I presented to them was that the administrative task necessary could be automated, right? So I haven't really took a deep dive in there yet, but they're waiting for me to get back from some other stuff I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to present to the group. I'm looking at. I haven't really looked into it yet, but I'm want to do some research as far as to automate the administrative tasks to um, operate a chess club.
Oh, operate a chess club. So when you're operating your chess club, what's the main reason for that? What is it that needs to be operated or handled?
Okay, I don't have the list in front of me, but basically, um, keep track of what everybody's rating is. I don't have the list in front of me, but I did list a
That's fine.
number of tasks that need to be done that would take the weight off of anybody that is going to maybe have the secretary position or in treasurer position. Collecting dues, whatever the mundane task that can be.
Oh, he said collecting dues. When you're collecting the dues, is that going to be people are going to be paying online to give you those
Well,
dues?
none of this has been discussed yet. Basically, we were fielding the idea of a chess club for a while, and then as it was being discussed, what was being noticed was another group was going to hijack the idea. So I said, look, we better, uh, so we can actually run this. And so now we can ready to take it seriously, and he's getting a group of gentlemen together that can really put this thing together. So I'm just looking to do my part and bring to the group um, how to do this particular piece. So yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Brilliant, and thanks for sharing that. And I hope that you get at least something from this room that helps you to really think about how you're going to do that. Because yeah, I think you're in the right place right now. Because everything you just said already in my mind. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you what I'm thinking, but everything there's a whole bunch of stuff in my mind right now. I'm like, okay, you probably need this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that, and you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Once upon a time, I used to think, maybe about a decade or two ago, I used to think, right, I used to always have this question on my mind: how can I automate all of the things that I do? How can I automate making people be interested in my thing? How can I automate the process of communicating with the tens of thousands or millions of people that I need to communicate with? How can I automate setting up things online? How can I automate storing things in a database? How can I automate all of these things so that I don't have to think about it? So that while I'm asleep at night, sleeping away, there's money and there's customers coming into my business, even while I'm sleeping. Proper passive income systems that make it that the money is getting made while I'm sleeping, or I'm busy jet skiing off in Mexico, or whatever it might be. Right now, within the context of how much time we got here, it's impossible to cover this whole gigantic subject with the quality that it deserves. But there's a couple of things that I'm going to say really, really quick, and some of you might want to go back over the replay and catch these on the fly, or send me a message later, and maybe I'll create some kind of handout from my written notes here and turn it into a thing that I can share with others. But this is where I want your brains to open up. My automations in my system. So an automation is something that happens without a human having to be involved, right? An automation that happens automatically. All right. My automations in my business, I've got automations for, and I'm going to go through these pretty swiftly, but slow enough. I've got automations for onboarding. There's one or two people in this room already who have clicked the link at the top of the screen. If you were to click the link at the top of the screen where it says click me, what you will get is you'll get a one page on my website that is the doorway into my digital ecosystem. All you're going to see is one page, but behind that one page, there is a big, gigantic beast that's been getting built for the last handful of years. On that one page, it just gets straight to the point and says your digital ecosystem starts in the mind. And then there's an image that kind of communicates and demonstrates all of the different things that are worth considering when you're thinking about a digital ecosystem. And then after that, if you're so inclined, you can put in your name and email, and you will automatically be entered into my digital ecosystem. The moment somebody puts their name and email address into my digital ecosystem, and the people in this room that have put their name and address in there will know that this is true. The moment you put your name and address into my digital ecosystem by clicking the link up top, you'll immediately get an email with a couple of free downloads in it. A free gift from me, if you like, that help you have a bit of insight into my mindset around this stuff called neuro-linguistic programming. And one of the downloads is something about using NLP with AI, so on and so forth. So you'll get that email straight away. That happens automatically on autopilot. 24 hours later, one day later, you'll get another email giving you a little bit more information about how my ecosystem works and what value there is to offer. 1 or 2 days later, you'll get another email, which tells you a bit about me, where I'm coming from, and what specifically I do. 24 hours later, you get another email, and so on and so forth. Now, this doesn't happen every day, every day, every day for months and months and years on end. It happens for a particular amount of emails in the sequence, about 10 emails in the sequence frequently. And then later on down the line, after you've gotten about 10 emails, you're then automatically placed in a more generic pool of email addresses, and you'll get emails a little less frequency. I've programmed it that after around about 10, you get emails a little less frequently, and you'll get more newsletters or things that are coming up soon, or maybe a free thing that I maybe want to give out to help you understand something. All of this is automated because I sat down and I wrote all the different emails. And on the back end of my website, I said, right, make this email go on straight away, make this other email happen 1 day later, and then I tell it, make this other email happen another day later, so on and so forth. I've built an automated onboarding system using automations. The only how do I know that there's people in this room today that have already signed up? Because the moment that somebody enters their name and email address on my system by clicking that link at the top of the screen, the moment you do that, I've automated my whole system to send me an email to say, hey, Darren, somebody's just joined your ecosystem, do a little dance or smile. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, firstly, it lets me know that somebody's just joined my ecosystem while I'm running rooms live. That's useful to me. Secondly, it makes me feel motivated. There's a part of the human brain called the reward system, the dopamine reward system. That's in the brain. It's a particular network of nerve cells that are all joined together that light up like a Christmas tree when you get a reward. People who do drugs, when you do drugs, it makes the reward system light up. Like, look, somebody just signed up again. To the person whose name begins with A, I know who you are. I've just got my notification, thank you. Just wanted to distract me and see if all of this is working, as I said, right? um when somebody does drugs, it makes the reward system light up. When many people drink Coca-Cola, it makes the reward system light up. When people are doing gambling and they win, it makes the reward system light up. Some people, when they have sex, it makes the reward system light up. Addiction is usually governed by that reward system thing. Now, what I've done is I've hijacked the exact same mechanisms that are underlying addiction for making it that every single time somebody joins my ecosystem, I get the notification on my iPhone immediately, and I've programmed myself to make it that every single time I get one of those notifications, I smile or I do a little dance, and I keep programming my programming and responding to my reward system, my nature. So now every single time somebody joins my ecosystem, I get excited. Every time somebody joins my ecosystem, I do a little dance if I'm standing up, or because I'm sitting down and I'm talking to you guys on the phone, I just smiled and just acknowledge the moment before carry on talking. So not only is my ecosystem, my onboarding automated ecosystem, doing what it needs to do business wise. Thank you to the person whose surname I'm not even gonna. The person who you know that I know you. Thank you for signing up. Somebody's just signed up now. There's an art and science to this stuff. Can anyone see the usefulness of having an onboarded digital ecosystem? And by the way, everyone, I'm not doing all of this and able to do all of this because I'm some magical human being who's better than anyone else, who was born with a silver spoon or some super duper knowledge in my mind. I'm somebody who just asked the question, how can I systematize this stuff? And then I got myself on a platform that allows for automations. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, cool, automations. You do email sequences, brilliant. And it's so simple, everyone. It's so simple. Anybody can do this. It'll literally say, what email do you want to send first? And then what amount of time delay do you want before the next one goes out? And then the next one and the next one. I could make a whole email sequence for a whole year. What's the usefulness of this? I'm nurturing the relationship with new customers. Hello, while I'm sleeping or while I'm talking on Clubhouse. And I don't have to do anything. All I got to do is mention it. Super simple stuff. Right, I want to slow down. Again, tech talks are usually what happens on a Wednesday, and it's usually the brilliant Marvin who's on stage right now. Marvin might not necessarily be able to talk because he's got some other stuff going on in the background, but he said let me know earlier on he was going to be here anyway, so he might be in and out. But Marvin usually does these rooms on a Wednesday, and what Marvin usually does is he usually lets people know about the wide range of really cool online digital tech that's out there in the world that you could use as you build digital systems. And and by the way, if you guys want to know the majority of what Marvin's talking about and where he gets these tech from, all you've got to do is click the link at the top of the screen, because I thought I was going to make my life easy today. Click the link at the top of the screen, and you'll see under where it says your digital ecosystem starts in the mind. You'll see directly after it says AppSumo link. Click that and you'll get the link that Marvin usually shares every single week, week in, week out, where he's trying to let you guys know where there's all these really cool extra systems that can help you as you develop yours. If anyone's thinking, what's AppSumo? What is that? Well, sumo, I love the word sumo because this is a bit like playing sumo when you're building your digital systems, because you're building, changing, getting rid of, doing this, that, and the other. It's actually quite fun when you get into it, I swear to God. Not in the beginning, but then after a while, you're like, hold on a minute, I can see the usefulness of this. Makes my life easier, helps me to make more money, helps me to help my customers to get much more of a better onboarding sequence. So, AppSumo is a website that I was actually introduced to about 6, 7 years ago by a friend of mine, and he was trying to push me into using it. I was just like, I don't understand what this is about. But when you go to AppSumo, what you'll see is lots and lots and lots of apps that do things that are useful for if you are building digital online business systems. You've got apps that will help you to nurture the relationship with your customer. You've got apps that will help you to design certain things. You've got apps that are maybe alternatives to ChatGPT. You've got apps that will be better schedulers than Calendly or whatever it might be. So AppSumo is lots and lots and lots of apps. Now, what is it about this website? Well, on the AppSumo website, there are certain apps that you might not find anywhere else in the universe, and they've put it all first on AppSumo, and they give away great deals because these are usually startup companies quite often that are trying to make their first billion or whatever. They give away great deals because they just want to get people onto the app so that they can go to their potential $1 billion venture capitalist angel investors, and they want to say, look, we've got all these people on the app, we've got proof of concept, and we got them originally from AppSumo. No. Anyway, so the usefulness of that to you is sometimes they got these deals on AppSumo where they give you a deal where after it's not on AppSumo anymore, you will never see that deal ever again in your life. And remembering some of the stuff that Marvin usually says, you might in some cases be able to pay $30 for lifetime access for some app that way later on down the line that it ain't gonna be $30 no more. It's gonna be like $200 a month or something mad like that once they get their VC investments and they need to make the shareholders money back and all that sort of stuff. So on AppSumo, there's constantly updating lists of the latest online tech that you can use to help you build your online digital business systems. And I wanted, out of continuity, I wanted to make sure I continue sharing that app link that Marvin's always sharing out. So to get access to that, I wanted to put everything in one place. Just click the link at the top of the screen, and you'll literally see a link that says AppSumo link. It's like the first thing you'll see as you go to this particular landing page, web page, thingamajig. Other things worth thinking about if you are building a digital business system online are things like analytics. Every single day without fail, my website platform, every single day, every 24 hours, I get an email saying 12 people signed up to your website yesterday, or 100 people visited your website yesterday. 10 of them were from America, 20 were from England, 5 were from India, the rest were from Australia. I've literally got systems that send me emails every single day without fail. And that does a couple of things. It motivates me to know that I'm going in the right direction. Or sometimes if the numbers are low, I'll be like, whoa, what happened there? Oh, right. I forgot to mention the damn link when I was doing a clubhouse room. And that resulted in less people clicking the link or signing up or visiting the website or whatever it is. So every single day, every single day, I get an email to me to let me know what's going on in terms of how many people have visited my website, how many people have started filling in a form, and how many people have actually submitted a form. Every 30 days, I get an email with analytics that tells me how long people stayed on my website, how many people visited my website, what forms were filled in, forms on my website were more popular than what. Literally all the details that I need to help me stay motivated. I live a lonely life, people. For those of you that don't know, I want you to feel sorry for me right now. I live in the middle of the jungle, just me and my cat. Got rid of all the kittens. Just me and my cat. I live alone in the jungle. I don't have friends and family around me to motivate me to do better in business and to succeed more in life. But what I do have is I've got my analytics. I've got my analytics that will get emailed to me every day to let me know how I'm doing in life. Yeah, I love those analytics. They are my best friend. I also have payment alerts. Those are really cool. If anyone in this room was to pay for something right now, I haven't got anything particularly that will make you do that because I haven't built that into this particular funnel. I just want people to sign up to websites. It's a lead magnet, getting people to sign up to the mailing list focused funnel. But if somebody pays me, I'll immediately get a notification saying, "Hey, Darren, somebody's just paid you $2,000. Hey, Darren, somebody's just paid you $5.99 for this, that, or the other. Hey, Darren, somebody's just paid $47." And guess what? I've got it automated that when I get paid, it also says in the email that it sends to me, "Hey Darren, somebody's just paid you. Stand up, jump up and down on one leg and smile." I anchor the moment. Guess what? This trains my nervous system to stay motivated, to be motivated and be happy. And it activates the reward system, that particular set of nerve cells that are in my brain that function based on dopamine specifically, that go round and around and around and make me feel super, super happy. Automations, online business systems are about onboarding customers and making me happy so I can consistently feel happy every day. I love it. It's brilliant. If somebody signs up to my website and become a member, I get an automation sent to me via an app saying, "Darren, you just got a new member." You know? And then I've got AI support systems here, there, and everywhere. I'm not going to talk about AI today because I think there's enough around that already. Maybe some other day. Automation isn't just about saving time, even though that's the greatest benefit. It's about reducing repetitive cognitive labor so you don't have to think so much. I love the fact that I put the effort into all these things because I don't have to think so much. I've got my automated systems telling me where I need to place my attention. Darren, you've not had enough people signing up this week. All you need to know, Darren, is just need to put more effort into letting people know that they need to click the link at the top of the screen and join your ecosystem. Darren could do with more sales this week. Darren lean more into using verbal stuff to encourage people to want to get value from whatever it is you do or whatever it is. My system's constantly notifying me of these things. It helps me using the nervous systems that I was born with. Like hello, which then in turn trains my intuition to become more on point with how I talk, how I come across, what I communicate, what I don't communicate. It's so much fun. So much fun. Now, inside the last 5 minutes, I was just going to let you know just about a couple of things. There's all these different systems online. Now, you can get completely drowned in these things, but there's all these different platforms these days. Like we're in the 21st century, right? Now, there are a lot of people out there that have one system for handling bookings, one other system for taking money, another system for emailing their customers, and storing a mailing list. Another system, like the list goes on and on and on and on. I could probably go on for the next 10 minutes about all the different systems that are out there. But in the 21st century, you know what's really cool? There's systems that you can get that do all of these things, all wrapped up in nice packages. I know Marvin and Charlene frequently talk about Go High Level. That is a particular platform that allows you to constantly email your customers, store information about your customers, and have online systems and landing pages and all these sorts of things that help you to continuously develop those relationships with your customers. Really cool. There's multiple other systems like that as well. I've used several of these. I've used Wix, Thinkific, Squarespace, WordPress, Oh God, the list goes on and on and on. Originally, I used to use Kajabi when I started this particular business I'm doing now, but now I'm using something called Wix. Wix enables me to do these automations, enables me to have a customer relationship management system. It enables me to have automations that remind me of stuff. It's got an online community. I've got online training programs on there where people can watch video after video after video, and they can pay for that. It's all behind a paywall. People can join my online community. That's behind a paywall too. Like, hello. And all of this is automated and it's easy just by joining one platform, not separate systems. Excuse me? People can book a session with me. They can pay me. They can email me and ask me questions. They can join my communities. They can do all of these wonderful things. One system. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Now, I've built my system in a way that matters to me. So here's the psychology thing. And I want you guys to think about how this might apply to you and what you do, whether it's starting up a chess club. I used to have a club at my university. I was the president of something called a psychological society at a university called Birkbeck in England. And as the president, I was always thinking, how do I manage all the bloody members? And that's when I discovered MailChimp. I was like, oh, what's this? Okay, so people can put in their email addresses and names and what subject they're studying, and it will automatically store their names on an online database so that I can see it all. Oh, I like that. So all I had to do every time I met somebody was I say, look, here's the link, or give me your email address. I'd stand at student fairs and I'd get everyone's email address, and then I'd input it into MailChimp, and it was a great way of managing my relationship with around about 1,000 students. 1,000 people I can manage relationship with ease. Think about it, having a relationship with 1,000 people, that's cognitively taxing in theory, right? But no, it doesn't have to be. Create systems that make it that it's not. I've currently got a few thousand people on my mailing list, which, thank you to those of you who have joined today. I've got a few thousand people on my mailing list, but I find it very, very easy to have a relationship with them all by sending emails to the people on my mailing list that are about things that everyone on my mailing list has in common. Everyone that's on my mailing list, in theory, the way I've designed things, are all people that care about progression, care about life being better, care about being more excellent. That's the main spine of things. Now, is there anything else I want to shout out? Because soon, in about 2 minutes, 1 minute even, it's time for everyone to leave here and go over and join the 5 a.m. Breakfast with Champions room. So I'm just going to grab the link while I'm talking to you guys. But the main thing that I want to get across today is that anything that you want to do, any kind of business or managing groups of people or any of these sorts of things, these are things that if you've got the mindset that you want to digitize it, it can be digitized. Literally anything that you want to digitize, you can digitize. If you don't know specifically where to go or how to do it or where, doesn't matter. It's a terrible mindset to have. Don't worry about that. Anything that you want to achieve and digitize, you can achieve and you can digitize. Again, I cared a long time ago about creating a digital. I cared a long time ago about. I was thinking, how do I digitize this career that I've got? Where in my career I'm working for training providers that help people move from not being too knowledgeable and not too skilled to at the other end of it being very knowledgeable and extremely skilled, well, and making an absolute difference in their life. And I asked that question several years ago, and I just kept trying and trying and trying and trying. And even if I didn't know where the answer was, I kept looking and looking and looking. And now I have an online training provider that heavily reflects some of the multi million, up to 200 million pound organizations. And I've got a micro version of that online right now. And the first step of getting into my particular ecosystem is clicking the link at the top of the screen. Now, I want to thank everyone who is here today, who's joined me today. And I want to thank Marvin for trusting me to handle his segment today. I believe it will be next week.